Hello, everyone. Good morning to today's meditation. Hoping that the voice is heard clearly. If somebody could please indicate in the chat, in the comment section, that would be very helpful. And we can take this moment in silence until then. So, this is Kanupriya from Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center of the Brahma Kumaris in New York, in America. And today we will be talking about viewing the world as black or white. So, when we are these days looking at our lives, many times in our lives, when we look at the decisions that we have to make to move forward in our lives, we see that making decisions becomes extremely difficult. And the reason for this difficulty in making decisions is the shades of gray that are there in our minds. And those shades of gray is what is causing confusion. In this world, there are so many perspectives and so many views on any topic when it comes to taking a decision and really knowing what is right or wrong, what is the truth and what is false. And the mind is, with so many opinions, it feels like it is overloaded with it is all the time, overloaded with a lot of information which is causing so much of confusion. And the best example of this is these days there is the internet, right? And any search engine, right? Where you can just type anything and then you are able to get many pages of results for that topic. And that may be spanning from hundreds of pages to thousands of pages. And when we look at so many opinions, then it becomes so difficult to take any decision or to form our own opinion, because we then start to feel frustrated and exhausted and weak, confused, lost, right? Anxious. We all have been there, right? So, what spirituality does is that it helps us develop a perspective or a viewpoint such that we are able to see each and every aspect in this world with clarity, meaning we are able to see with objectivity just two aspects in every situation, in everything that we are doing, in any decision that we are making, and that is black or white, meaning to say there is clarity and a very stark contrast that we are able to see in terms of what is the truth and what is false. And we when there is ignorance, right, there is darkness there. When there is knowledge, then there is light there. So it can either be dark or light. So in a given room, if there is darkness and there is a speck of light coming in from into that room, then we can say that we are moving towards clarity, right? But there is a very stark contrast. When there is total darkness, then there is full kind of ignorance, and a refined intellect is needed to see this contrast. And the good news is that we all have that refined intellect. It's just that we have to keep using it. And the more we use it, we will come into more and more clarity. And these days, there are many, many things that are put on top of the truth. People will paint the truth, polish the truth, but still, uh, or falsehood, right? Not the truth, I'm sorry. People will paint and polish the false, right? Or something that is artificial and make it look like real. So, but we know that, a refined intellect which has clarity can see the falsehood, the artificiality of that thing. So, just to give an example, recently we all have seen these plants, right? The plants that are made up of plastic. So these are artificial plants, and it's very convenient, easy to decorate your home or office or wherever, to just keep these plants there. So there was someone who was visiting us, and she said, looking at the plant, that oh, such a nice, beautiful plant you have. And when we told her that it is actually an artificial plant, she thought that it was real and a living plant, but it was an artificial plant. So when we told her that, she couldn't believe that that plant was artificial, because the leaves and each and every detail about the plant was so much like real. She actually had to pinch the plant, right, to see that if what we were saying was true. So something like this happens every day in our lives, yeah, where there is a lot of shades of gray, which is causing confusion because there is no clarity in our minds, in our perspective, in the way we look at things. And as we know, truth can only be one. There can no never be a case where there are two truths, right? So truth can only be one, and once we recognize that truth, then we know everything else is false. And when we look at the spiritual dimension of this whole aspect of black and white, we see that this physical temporary world is actually temporary. It is for a short period of time. And the reality of the soul, this tiny point of light, is completely different from the what is happening in this physical world, right? So just seeing that with clarity brings about this perspective of viewing the world as black and white, and you will see how it really improves your decision making, your level of happiness, and the joy that you lead your life with. So let us experiment now in our meditation with this view. So we choose a upright position, a sitting posture that is comfortable, and just connecting to that point of light who's sitting behind the eyes, using these windows of the eyes to view the world outside. This tiny point of light is the experiencer. And this point of light is aware of his original experience, the original experience of this invisible experiencer is beyond this body and beyond this whole physical world. The true experience of this invisible experiencer is in this world of light. And we use the image of a gentle golden red light which is the home of this invisible experiencer. This home of light is where the experiencer belongs. The experience of eternity and immortality is the truth of this invisible experiencer. This world is changeless. There is no experience of time in this world. This world is a world of silence. And from this higher dimension, the experiencer can view far in the distance this temporary world that is always changing and unpredictable, always full of sound and noise and chaos. That world has a beginning and an end. That world is an extra experience that is not really needed for this invisible experiencer to exist. We see the contrast between this invisible world and the corporeal world, the physical world. Just holding in our awareness this contrast where there is no mixing between what is true and what is false, what is changing and what is changeless, what is real and what is artificial. We see this very clearly. Seeing the contrast and viewing this whole world as black or white. We stay with this awareness and we see ourselves sail through smoothly through our lives, because now it is clear to us what is right, what is wrong, what is true, and what is false. And our decisions, our whole perspective is based on this view as black or white. Thank you. And the more we practice this viewing, this perspective, we will notice how we move towards more clarity, slowly maybe, but definitely steadily. And it would really help us to really take our life forward with all the happiness and joy that we rightfully deserve. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.